Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are tying the Cosseboom Miramichi Atlantic salmon pattern, and we're going to be tying this on a salmon steelhead hook and the number 6. And we're going to start off with some 6/0 thread, and we'll just start that off just a little bit behind the eye. We're going to wrap that back. Now we want the tag to be starting around the hook point. Okay. And we're going to be using small fine French tinsel, oval tinsel in a silver. And we're going to tie that in. Again, we want to have it going back to about the hook point. And we'll wrap that forward. Tie it off there. Always want to check your work when you're doing that. Okay, the tail now will be some fluorescent green hackle fibers. Just want to make sure all the ends are good there. And we'll extend that back about a half a hook shank. And wrap the remainder forward. And the reason we do that is we don't want to have we're trying to negate a bump as much as we can in the thread and the materials. Okay, so we want to even it out. And now we're going to wrap forward. And we're going to tie in some medium French tinsel for the rib. And we're going to tie that in the front again, so we don't have this bump going back. And we'll wrap that back. There, looks good. And we're going to do the same thing now with the green floss that we're going to tie in, a dark green floss. Bring the thread forward. We're going to grab some uni floss, 600 1 ply. We're going to cut a piece of that off. And again, we're going to tie that in front, pulling the floss just slightly back to as much as we can before we lose it, and start wrapping back. Again, we're trying not to have a bump in the body at all. And now we'll start wrapping our floss, and the floss is thin enough that we can go over the previous wrap if we'd like. Always just checking what we're doing here. Always check what's going on the other side. this forward. It's an elegant pattern, but it is, to all intents and purposes, a simple pattern to tie. Only a few steps. And we're going to tie that off now. Three wraps should do it. And now we'll bring our rib up. Trying to keep those spaces between as much as we can exactly the same. Tying that off, and then just before we cut it, you always want to go back and check it. Make sure everything's okay. Okay. And maybe one more wrap there. Nice and secure. Okay, now we'll get some natural gray squirrel tail. And we'll get a little bit of that off. Again, less is more, especially when it comes to Atlantic salmon patterns. We don't want too much. And you want that pretty well extending just to about the end of the tail. And we're going to tie that in. A couple loose wraps to start, and then slowly pushing down on it. Checking to see where we had the thread going. And then we'll cut all that excess off. And we're going to go back and secure that down. Okay. That looks good. You always have some pieces that you never grab, so you just want to kind of just pull it slightly. And now we're going to give it a little color of yellow hackle. Now we are just using some strung rooster here. And you just want to grab a nice piece. Just going to clean up the ends here so we can grab it. We're going to be tying that in from the tip. It's not cooperating right now. There we go. Okay, you can do this by hand or grabbing some hackle pliers. And we're going to do it by hand though. For now, we'll see how this goes. And we'll do one wrap and then start brushing the fibers back as we wrap around. And capturing the hackle there. And we'll have a little bit of a mess there, but we'll clean it up. There we go. We just have to release some of them there. Sometimes they get stuck in there. And we'll just do some trimming here before we actually finish in the head. And we're still going to pull some of this back here now. That looks good. And then come forward, trapping all those fibers in there, trying to cover as much as we can. And we'll take a look on this side and see what we need to be doing here. You always want to double check both sides of your head to make sure that everything is covered. And we'll just try to blend in the head a little bit better there. And now just a nice little whip finish. And we'll give it some UV finish, some clear. Again, very simple pattern to tie. This Cosseboom Miramichi, but it does work wonders. Great for Atlantic salmon and in smaller sizes. Great for trout, to be honest with you. And we'll just hit it with the light a little bit longer. That looks good. A little Salmon. And there you have it, the Miramichi Cosseboom. And hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time.